Hello everyone, this is Bindu from Bookworm Bindu. Today I have a very special guest, and this discussion is also very special because it's an offline discussion with Priya Arora ma'am. And if you're not aware about her, she is an author of Life is a Battlefield book and Rama, a Man of Dharma. And before any further ado, I'm welcoming Priya ma'am on our offline discussion. Hello ma'am, how are you doing? And thank you so much for taking out time today for this
Thank you for
discussion.
having me.
So I read your book Life is a Battlefield last year, and I was amazed with the fact that you have complemented Gita with our modern day struggles. I wanted to know one thing. What was the inspiration behind writing this book?
So the inspiration was exactly what you said, is to connect it with our modern lives.
Okay.
Because the Gita is not just some abstract philosophy. The Gita is about how you can use this philosophy to be happy and fearless. So if you want to be happy and if you want to be fearless, this Bhagavad Gita is for you.
Okay. So if someone is not able to read Bhagavad Gita, Life is a Battlefield can be an excellent choice for that. So you have mentioned that modern day struggles. Even the book also talks about life is a battlefield. I wanted to know that what was your inspiration behind this title, and what was your thought that how our readers is going to take this title as a metaphor, or will they be able to understand this is a metaphor for their life?
So the battlefield of Kurukshetra is a metaphor for life, because just as in the battle there are ups and downs, everything in a battle doesn't go smoothly, everything doesn't go badly. One day you maybe have a winning streak, the next day you may be losing. So this is part of a battle. Life is exactly like that. Sometimes things go well in life, sometimes things don't, but we have to have a mindset that helps us win. So you have to have a winning mindset. So that's what the Bhagavad Gita does. And that was my objective, to show how in our modern lives we can have this winning mindset so we can win in the battles that we face in life.
Wow. So, thank you so much for this insightful answer, ma'am. One thing I wanted to know that this book is divided into chapters and characters and verses. Is there any moment wherein, any moment while writing this book, you feel a challenge has been thrown, or probably you felt that you are pushing your limits writing any chapter of this book?
I didn't really feel that, because this book has come from deep personal experience. So when I was writing, actually it was spilling out on the pages. Let's put it that way. I wasn't really sitting there struggling to write,
Okay.
because whatever I wrote came from deep conviction.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but
So basically, it was not challenging at all.
it was not challenging. What was challenging, actually, if anything, was to explain the complex philosophy in a manner that makes it relatable.
Okay.
You see, because the Bhagavad Gita is very high philosophy. Now, Arjun understood that philosophy because he was trained in it.
Yes.
So for him, this was just a reminder.
Yes.
Sri Krishna was reminding him of these things. For us, it's something we don't really, we're not familiar with. So the challenge was to explain it in a way that makes sense today.
Wow. And I feel that makes the perfect sense of this answer, because when we talk about Gita, we usually think about that it's a text that is not accessible to our generation, and probably the language is one of the barrier that
Right.
comes across. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's one of the book that will, as a reader, I will come back to this book and read it not from the sequence. I can read this book from any page because this has been written in such a way. But as an author or a writer, I feel you probably would have one chapter as a favorite, or probably you would have thought this one of the chapters should have a takeaway as a reader. So what that chapter is for you?
For me, it was chapter 1, which is why I made it chapter 1.
Okay.
So the chapter 1 is everyone faces adversity. And this is such an important lesson for us, especially in today's world, where we are so driven by, material success. And one, not saying one shouldn't be, but one should also know that life is not a bed of roses. We should not have that expectation that everything should go right. Things will go right, things will go wrong.
Right.
So if we have that mindset, then it's much easier.
Cool. So, I have read that you have read Gita in its original form and in the Sanskrit version of Ramayana of Valmiki. After reading these texts, what was one moment wherein you felt that these text has changed something in you and you decided to put it down in this book?
So it wasn't one moment. See, this is a slow process. These texts definitely had a humongous impact on me as a person, on my mind, on my development, on my outlook. Yeah, I would say they changed me completely. But it wasn't one moment. It was like a slow process where it just happened. And when I finished reading the Valmiki Ramayana, actually, I was it was so it was I felt the need to write, because everything that I thought I knew about Sri Ram and everything that I thought I knew about the Ramayana was different.
Oh my God.
So that's why I felt I had to write.
Okay, so I feel everyone should read this book because this book comes as a condensed form of Gita with today's things. But, ma'am, I read this book and this made me realize one thing, that struggles are part of everyone's life. As you have
Yes.
mentioned in your
Yes.
previous answer, that life is not a perfect combination of everything and not neither bed of roses. So, when we say that adversity will come and your first chapter talks about it, how you faces challenges in your life and what is your advice for today's generation and how they can tackle.
So one of the things that happens, actually, it happened to me, and I think it happens to everybody. When you have a problem, no matter what that problem is, it tends to take up all the real estate in your head. So you think of nothing else. So if it's a relationship problem, you'll only think of that. And you'll also think that everybody else is happy and only you're unhappy. If you have a financial problem, again, you'll think everybody is fine, only you have this financial problem, no matter what the problem is. Now, what's important actually in this is to realize that when you think like that, you're making yourself a victim. The moment you think of yourself as a victim, you're not in a empowered position. So what really my advice would be is, when something happens like that, to actually realize that hardship comes to everybody. The moment you make that switch and you stop thinking that you are the only sufferer, then life becomes easier. And then one of the simple tools to make you suffer less is to have gratitude for what you have.
Right.
So the moment you think, okay, fine, I have this problem in my life, but I have all these blessings, and you focus on your blessings, then the problem is minimized.
Wow. So I feel positive mindset and gratitude is one of the
gratitude
things.
is huge. Gratitude is huge. In my life, that's what happened. I have a son with special needs, and it used to bother me so much. I used to only think that I'm so unlucky, nobody has this problem, only I have this problem. All this, wrong way of thinking. But then moment I got into this Vedanta, and I started realizing that I have many blessings. Yes, this is a problem. But the moment I started focusing on my blessings and being grateful for what I had, then that problem was much easier to handle. It didn't take on such gigantic proportions in my mind. So that is my simple advice, is that if you have a problem, keep it in perspective.
Wow. So perspective is really important about things. Thank you so much. And I feel my takeaway from the answer would be gratitude, perspective, and positive mindset.
Yes.
And so we are talking about the challenges and we are talking about how we can tackle those challenges. in today's world, when we are living in such fast paced world, everything is available in a jiffy or with a snap of fingers. What do you feel that despite, and I have also read somewhere that despite everything that we have, we are loneliest generations of the entire century. So what's you feel that what is the most challenging thing that today's generation is facing?
See, what happened was, actually I come from a generation where we didn't have a digital world, right? So um, the only people who were like who lived in a fishbowl, so to speak, were film stars,
Okay.
and celebrities. Today, look at the pressure. Everybody has become a celebrity because everybody has a digital life,
Yeah.
and that digital life then is so important, right? And that digital life may not match your real life. So you have, that creates an enormous amount of stress.
Yes.
So yeah, so today's world, actually the digital world has helped us tremendously. You and I are
Yeah,
able to
connected.
connected
Yeah.
because of the digital world. It would
Yes.
not have happened otherwise.
Yes.
But there is also a stressful side of it. So it's important for young people, I would say, to not be so ruled by the public side. Like, we, what it tends to do is it makes you very conscious of yourself, like on screen and off screen.
Yes.
you know
Got it. And I feel this challenge also comes from that sometimes people, whatever they are putting it up on the social media or on a digital platform, people tend to compare their digital
Exactly.
life with our own
Yes.
life, despite knowing the fact that this is not the entire life they are
Yes.
showcasing to us. So we have to be a bit cautious about the both of the coins. So thank you so much, ma'am. And I feel this book is something that is written with the context of Gita, struggle, battlefield, everything. I feel this book has a tremendous power to change at least the mindset to obstacles that comes into our life. So anywhere in this chapter or in this book has been um, taken down from your real life examples. Is there any inspiration from your real life examples?
See, this book is actually written entirely based on the Bhagavad Gita. So it was not really to, I've not put my life into this at all.
Okay.
But what I have done is I've shown how everything that's in the Bhagavad Gita is universal wisdom. So you'll see I've quoted from many authors in regular literature from all over the world, because whatever Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita is not only applicable to Hindus,
Yes.
it's applicable to everybody.
Yeah.
Because what he talks about is universal wisdom.
Yes.
He talks about the human condition, about the human mind. So, this is not limited only to one group of people. So, yeah, I have definitely drawn on a wide variety of, comparative thought, which says the same thing.
Okay, but nothing inspiration from your real life.
I haven't really, not in this one. No, actually, I haven't brought my own life into it, though I have been deeply inspired by the Bhagavad Gita.
Wow. So these were my certain questions about this book, ma'am. But I have certain more questions that we'll have the perspective about. When you must have, I'm sure this is your second book. Your first one is also Rama, the man of dharma that we have
Yes.
right now with us. Both of this book has the element of Gita in this book.
Mhm.
So I wanted to know one thing: why people should read Gita?
Why should we? Because it's the highest wisdom. Simple as that. And why is it the highest wisdom? Because it actually gives you two things. One is what we all look for in life, which is happiness, sukham. And the second thing that it gives you is abhayam, which is fearlessness. So if you want to be happy and fearless, then Bhagavad Gita is for you.
Okay. And if someone wants to read Bhagavad Gita, do you suggest that it should be from the original format? And like, what should be the sequence or probably the process to read Gita?
So you see, Gita is a little tricky to read just in translation if you're a newcomer to it. Because not that you can't read it, there are many translations and many good translations as well. The problem is you'll get a very surface level meaning, because the Gita is very deep, and the Gita is Vedanta. As I said, it is the sum and substance of Vedic philosophy, which is very deep and difficult to for us to understand in this day and age. So what I always recommend is you read commentaries. If you read, don't just read a translation, read it with commentaries, because then you will understand it. Or else listen to lectures. There are many very good lectures that are freely available.
Okay.
That's another good way. And I've tried to summarize in this book um, all that in a way that makes it easily accessible. That was the purpose of this book, actually.
Okay. So, one more thing to add. Life is a Battlefield is a good choice if you want to read Gita and you feel that the language or somewhere the text is not accessible to you. So, ma'am has condensed everything in this book, and everyone should read Life is a Battlefield. Take this, my personal recommendation. And one last question about Gita would be that I have read somewhere that Gita has the potential and power to change someone's life. How do you also echo this thought? And if you feel that one or two key takeaways from Gita that you follow in your daily life.
Okay, now does it change your life? Absolutely, it can. Will it? That depends.
Okay.
Because if you remember, in the two people heard the Bhagavad Gita. One was Arjun, second was Dhritarashtra, because Sanjay was telling him this whole story. The Gita starts with that.
Yes.
That Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjay what's happening on the battlefield,
Yes.
and then Sanjay is telling him this whole thing. So he heard it, but he didn't change. Dhritarashtra didn't change. Only Arjun changed. So yes, it can change you, but you must want to change, and you must allow it to allow yourself to change.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can. It's with anything in life, actually. If the it depends on you.
Okay. I feel it comes with the fact one quality that is really important in today's world. We called it adaptability, right? If you want to change, then only
Then
it
only
will.
change is possible.
Okay. And the second part was the key takeaways from Gita.
So the biggest takeaway from the Gita is that we have to realize that life here that we take so seriously, this life is temporary. But the life that is eternal is your higher self, your Atman, your spirit self. That is your eternal nature. And what behavior that comes from identifying with your eternal nature is different from identifying with the body. See, because when you identify with the body, you become very selfish. Because then you want it, because the body is something that you become material, you become selfish. Whereas when you think of yourself more as a higher consciousness, then your behavior reflects that. So Bhagavad Gita is about trying to tell you who you are. That is one of the biggest lessons in the Bhagavad Gita, is telling you who you are, that you are not just this body, you are much more than that.
Very beautiful, and I'm sure now your answer is making sense to me. If I would have heard this answer probably a decade back, I was like, I probably won't be able to relate to it. So thank you so much, ma'am, for this answer. And as I just want to know that how you ended up writing these two beautiful book that tackles modern day problem with our ancient text solutions. What was your journey like? If you can share your journey of writing these books from your mind to, and what was your inspiration to write Life is a Battlefield?
So, I came to this journey actually just by chance. I really was not a religious person, not someone who was involved in anything in this field at all. But I was when I was in a friend of mine in the US. She said, come and listen to this lecture on the Bhagavad Gita at Berkeley in the Ramakrishna Mission. And I said, okay, sure. And I just went just for the sake of it. And that made me realize, that lecture, about the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. Because not that it changed me then, but it sparked my interest and I started studying. it got me on the path to start to know more. So that was my inspiration, actually, is that when I realized that there's so much knowledge that we have in our shastras, and the sad thing is that we don't know it. It's there, but we don't know it. It's like, I say that, you have a gym membership, huh? But it's only useful if you actually go to the gym.
Yes.
Just having the membership doesn't make you slim.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to if you want to become slim, you have to actually go and do some workout over there.
Okay.
So we have these shastras, but there's no use unless we actually read and study them.
Okay.
So that was my inspiration, is to bring them out.
I really love the example that you have quoted, the gym membership. I'm sure now people will be able to relate to that, how and why our ancient texts are important. So, ma'am, we have talked about life is a battlefield. I'm yet to read Rama, A Man of Dharma, but I've shared my feedback offline with you. Now we are waiting that offline you told me that you have read Mahabharata also. So, when we can expect a new book from you?
Now you've given me a very big task. Mahabharata has more than 1 lakh verses. And this took me so long to write because, and I had the advantage of writing it during COVID.
Okay.
So now we don't have that. Well, I should not say it's an advantage because it was never an advantage, but I had the advantage of being locked down and writing. But yeah, now that you've said this, you've got my mind working. So hopefully.
So hopefully soon,
Hopefully.
right? So COVID was blessing in a disguise, you can
For
say.
me, it was a blessing in that I had all the time in the world to sit and write.
Cool. So now, since I'm aware that you have derived this book from the original text, I'm keen to read this book. And since I'm a mythology lover, I have talked about my friends about this book, and everyone is waiting for your next book. So I'm sure you will soon write it for us. So thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out your time. And since this is just probably half an hour episode, but we have talked a lot for almost 2 hours offline, and ma'am has shared her wisdom about Ramayana and corrected me at so many anecdotes that I have read. So if you have not read this book, Life is a Battlefield should be your next choice, and Rama and Man of Dharma next to next. And I'll see you soon in the next video, and happy reading. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
It was like लगा ही नहीं मैं आपसे बात कर रही हूँ. I now you have to write another book. मेरे को नहीं पता है. I know I'm like saying it very lightly. You should.